And I've been chilling, watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our growlings when people change, but not us. And we just chilling, kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the moss room. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes sound funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes sound funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding. You got me holding, holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes sound funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Play me like a bass guitar, simmer down and mash me up, tripping like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock. Drum me round in your red Ford, shivers down my spinal cord. Oh, 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 oh. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if I lost all my money.
What is up? What is up? இன்னைக்கு chill stream, easy gaming, story mode, no PUBG mobile. Let's play. பார்க்கலாம். தெரியுதா தெரியலையா, லூசா இல்ல அறிவு இருக்கா பார்ப்போம். Let's hit play. What is this fucking language? Okay, English. Okay, okay. Watson. Watson. This is brings back memories. Yes, yes. BBC Sherlock தான் ஞாபகம் வருது. Let's go. Shout out to the last subscriber, பழைய tape recorder. Sick Tamil videos போய் பாருங்க பார்க்கணும். Okay, okay, okay.
Holmes!
What do I need to do? Okay.
Holmes, will you stop that?
Okay.
You are utterly mad. Stop, Holmes!
Is that you, Watson?
Yes, of course it is. And you almost killed me.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded?
Watson, quiet, please. I'm trying to concentrate. Ah, Lestrade. What is it this time?
He can see me. Well, here it is, and it's a good one, Mr. Holmes. A gentleman by the name of Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter, has been murdered.
A sailor, most probably.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay.
What happened here?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, how could you?
It's the only exercise I've had all week. A grateful client from Limoges sent me a vase collection this morning. I couldn't think of a better use for it.
You're out of your mind.
I missed 4 out of 10.
Given you were blindfolded, that was very good. Can I have a try?
Am I the only sane one here?
I suppose that Watson is right, Inspector. A little brain work would be preferable now. Do please tell us more about Black Peter.
Peter Carey, born in 1845 and 50 years old. An ambitious sort, he achieved much success in seal and whale hunting around Scandinavia. Retired in 1884 with a small fortune. He invested his money in a property called Woodman's Lee, near Forest Row in Sussex. It was where he lived for 6 years, and where he was found dead yesterday.
Has the investigation
someone died.
already begun?
Yes and no. In fact, this crime is so mysterious that I would prefer you to join me down there.
Give me half an hour to prepare,
I
Inspector.
am free. I will come.
Take your time and join me there. I have to go through the yard first. The merry men struck again.
What have they done this time?
They robbed a powder reserve. I'll meet you at Woodman's Lee,
Powder?
Mr. Holmes.
I should help Mrs. Hudson here. I also have several appointments that I must keep this afternoon.
I shall go alone then.
Okay, no problem. Tab to open casebook and check your current progress. Sensitivities. Oof. It is still fucked, man. What the? Okay. Investigate the murder of Peter Carey. I don't know. Inspect the crime scene at Woodman's Lee. Select a suit to wear using your personal wardrobe and join the store. Okay. Suit. Where the hell is suit?
Oh, what a mess! What a terrible mess!
I know, right? I know. Where is the wardrobe? This is not the wardrobe. Is this the wardrobe? Okay. Morning gown, sailor outfit, unbuttoned suit, casual suit, black suit, brown suit, green suit, grey suit, light suit. So many choices. Let's go with this. Now what? Select the suit to wear and join Lestrade. Okay, जाना कहाँ? Evidence. Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter. 1985. So 50 years old. This is 1945. Achieved success at whale hunting. Okay, whale hunting. died in 1884 eventually.
Mr. Holmes, I'm over here. Come on.
Come on. British accent. T. What does this do? Stoned pathway. Surround stone pathway.
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
Okay.
Mr. Holmes?
Yep. और कुछ नहीं. Nothing else. Just my name. What the? Okay. Let's talk to her then. Oh, him. It's a guy. But talk to me. He's not talking. Let's see. Okay, this way. This is still not good.
Mr. Holmes?
Just और कुछ dialogue नहीं है क्या उनके पास? Okay, cutscene.
Inspector Lestrade, when will you remove my husband's body? It's sacrilegious to leave him here like this.
As soon as we can, Mrs. Carey, I assure you. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective.
Yep, that is me.
No doubt you've heard of him. I'll wait for you in front of the cabin, Mr. Holmes.
My condolences, Mrs. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Anything unusual? Not that. Where was the body found? Is there a gardener?
The garden is very large and well maintained. Do you employ someone to look after it?
It is true, there is a lot of work, but my husband took care of it himself.
Okay.
Do you remember at what time you found your husband's body?
In the morning, at around 7 o'clock. I noticed the cabin door was open, but I didn't go in to take a look, for I knew my husband would not have liked it. At around 10 o'clock, I dared to glance in through the door and... oh dear.
Oh dear. You saw him dead. That's what you saw. Let's examine. Eyes. Hair, nothing here. A, what is A? Okay, okay. What is this? Cameo. What is D? Okay, okay. What is this? Birdhouse. Gardening gloves. What is this book? Oh, okay. Crystal Tate. Crystal? What? I don't know what that is. Okay, Christian.
Was your husband accustomed to receiving visitors?
Oh no, I don't think so. I mean, he didn't really have many friends. We lived quite an isolated life here, after his retirement.
Okay, anything unusual?
Madam, can you tell me if you saw or heard anything unusual upon the night of the murder?
At 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard a terrible scream.
Okay.
But I thought nothing of it then. He would scream all the time when he was drunk.
Can you please tell me what occurred on the evening of the murder?
Well, Peter got drunk in the evening. He was in such a terrible temper. Usually whenever that happened, he'd stay all night drinking in his cabin before passing out.
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes, life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
Let's call Peter.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh my goodness, but how do you know about that?
How do you know about that? What did I just say? I was not. Oh, so how do you know about the Plymouth pilgrimage? Help Ghana, the father of the victim. I don't know. That was false evidence. Humans is very religious, Christian Catholic. Wonder took St. James away, clean image lesson. ठीक है. Pilgrimage is the way to go, I guess.
You undertook a pilgrimage to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela when you were young. That much is evident from the rosary in your hand. The shortest route for the pilgrim from England to Spain is from Plymouth.
I don't know where that is.
I believe that you met Peter Carey as a young sailor there, and you married him soon afterwards.
It's like you
That
saw
is
it.
indeed what happened, Mr.
Yep.
Holmes. How extraordinary.
I'm smart, I know.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you indeed. आगे बढ़ो. Let's see. Character portraits. Nothing important. Scan the area. Let's look at this. I am not allowed to go in. Fine. Investigate the murder, investigate the crime scene. Where is the crime scene actually? Let's see the crime scene. Lestrade se baat. I think I have to talk to Lestrade. Okay, I can run. Good to know.
Peter Carey's body is inside the cabin. We took care not to touch anything.
Inside the cabin. Can I go in now? Thank you.
The door is locked.
Oh,
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Ah,
Makes
good
sense.
thinking.
Hello.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that someone has tried to force it, Mr. Holmes.
Let me see.
someone tried to open a crime scene. That is suspicious. T. What the hell does door lock? D. T. कुछ नहीं होता. T is not doing anything. How do I get door? Yes, I know that is door. Door lock. Scratches.
These scratches are fresh. You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Our mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well, he's not the man for the job. This lock is not a difficult one.
Perhaps he did not have the right tool.
How do we open it? Okay, it is open. Let's see. Crime scene Mandaji. Okay.
What a terrible way to die.
Terrible indeed. Terrible. Let's examine the table.
Someone drank from this glass
Sure
recently.
has been drinking a lot. Tobacco pouch. Okay.
The initials
Engravings.
PC have been crudely burned. A sailor's work.
Okay. Open. Tobacco.
This aroma is familiar, but to recognize it, I must construct my associations in one picture.
What associations? Okay. This is definitely a ship. That's for sure. This one. Let's see. this? I can move this. Okay. Okay. What on earth is this? Okay, that makes sense. It is complete. Complete, hai? Hello? What about this? Right about here. This will go right about here. Maybe this. It is finished. Hello, sir. Huh? Okay.
Yes. This is a
Finally.
coarse tobacco,
Finally.
quite strong and very popular among sailors.
Let us see what else.
Rum,
Bottle.
a
Rum.
sailor's drink. It seems that Captain Carey was enjoying a drink before he met his death.
That is obvious, isn't it? Let's examine the dead body.
This man is in his 50s, yet he still looks quite strong.
This is a sailor, for God's sake.
The weapon fully penetrated the body. The force of the blow was immense.
He's a sailor.
Peter Carey was fully
Vigilant.
dressed. He was not caught by surprise. It is possible that he knew his murderer.
Okay. Former colleague, maybe? Examine the blood. Examine the blood. Pardon? Not the...
JHN are probably the initials of the owner of this notebook.
Let's see. Let's see. Okay, can I open? Can I open? Let me open. Hello. Excuse me. Nothing else? Yes. Sea knife.
This blood is from the pool underneath the dead body. This wooden handle is plain and solid. Peter Carey tried to defend himself with this knife, but he did not succeed.
Okay, if I find this, then there should be something else. Okay.
The pattern of the blood stain indicates that the notebook was not lying on the floor prior to the crime, but it was dropped into the pool of blood after the death of Peter Carey.
Okay, something else. Okay, we can open
These abbreviations mean something, but what?
it.
Peter
Okay,
Carey was impaled to the wall by a whaling harpoon.
B. What does B do? Find pairs of related clue and they will form a deduction. Red color signifies what the पढ़ रहे थे यार. Red color. Red color signifies an unachievable clue combination. Fine. Pinned to the wall, break-in attempt. No gardener. Successful. No gardener notebook. Ambush must be made tonight to see if the break-in attempt will be repeated. Okay.
Ha! Someone was here yesterday.
Yes.
They attempted to force the door to gain entry.
Yes. Let's see what's inside. More liquor.
Old navigation instruments, nothing interesting.
Compass. Compass is interesting. Unrelated. Boots.
Peter Carey's boots. They look to be a size 8.
Okay, what else? What else?
The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain. The ship's logs.
Fine. Shelf.
The tooth of a sperm whale, probably from one of Peter Carey's catches.
Okay, makes sense. Bar. What else? Map.
Dundee. Hammerfest. It's a whaling map.
What else? Did I miss something? Suspiciously empty space. Outline of dust. Okay. Nothing here. 3 watching. Everybody, welcome to the stream. Vanga. Who all are watching? What is this? Olama?
Mr. Holmes?
What's up,
Mr.
everybody?
Holmes, what do you think?
I think that we are lucky
And why is that?
because of last night's attempted break-in.
Oof, you've lost me.
Completely
It is
stupid.
very probable that whoever came here hoped to find the door open. They tried to force it with a knife blade, but they failed. What will they do?
Welcome,
Why return
welcome.
tonight?
Bore
when they will be
addicta?
better prepared.
Aha! So what do you propose?
We shall remain on the outside near the window, where we stand the best chance of catching sight of our visitor. Well, gentlemen, ready your pistols. We have a long night ahead of us.
Indeed. Long night indeed. What now? Investigate the murder, investigate crime scene at Woodman crime scene. Organize an ambush. Fine. How do we do that?
We need to find a good place for an ambush. Perhaps behind Carey's cabin, near the window.
Carrie's cabin near the window. Where the hell is that? Ambush, where is the ambush? கொஞ்சம் சத்தமா பேசு, உன் வாய்ஸ் கேட்க மாட்டேங்குது ப்ராப்பரா. Okay. Now, where do we set the ambush? Hello?
Mr. Holmes?
अरे क्या यार Mr. Holmes? This? No, this is
We need to find a good place for an ambush. Perhaps behind Carey's cabin, near the window.
near the window. This is the
This window is locked from the inside. I do not see any attempt at a break-in.
Then I don't have any other window in here. Do I? There is.
This looks like the perfect hiding place.
Okay, sudden, but okay. Let's see how the ambush goes. Da, 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 da.
Shh! Did you hear that?
I did.
There's someone there.
Keep rock,
I'm gonna collar
macha.
him.
Sure,
I'll be
macha.
right behind you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Police!
Like பண்ணுங்க.
Hold it right there.
Police. Imagine. अरे पढ़ने का टाइम नहीं होता. Helps in visual F. What does F do?
Mr. Holmes, come and see what we've caught in our net. All right, my fine fellow. Who are you and what are you doing here?
You're detectives, I suppose. You imagine that I'm connected with the death of Captain Carey.
Yes.
I assure you I'm innocent.
Innocence? And what are you doing in his cabin?
Shall I tell you? You came to retrieve what you had lost after killing Peter Carey, but we were here waiting for you.
What is your name?
John Hopley Nelligan, but I didn't...
Do you deny that you came here yesterday?
என்னடா பேர் இது?
No, but yes, it's just that I couldn't...
I'm tired of this. Off we go to the yard. Tomorrow, I'll see that you're put in front of the judge.
What? But you can't! I'm not... It's a terrible mistake!
Enough. You can explain all of that to the judge. You're coming with me to the yard.
But...
In light of recent events, it seems evident that your coming here was unnecessary. All the same, I'm very grateful to you, Mr. Holmes.
You are welcome, Inspector, but please don't be too hard on our young fellow. I would like to question him tomorrow morning.
Benedict Cumberbatch effect, bro. Yep. Nostalgia. ரொம்ப நாள் ஆச்சுல பார்த்து. Inspect the crime scene. Crime scene பண்ணியாச்சு. Scotland Yard. So appear to be size 8. Ouch. Okay. What is this? Be successful. Fine. Scotland Yard.
Good morning, Mr. Holmes. Can I help you?
Good morning, Constable. I would like to speak to the fellow who was arrested at Woodman's Lee last night.
Ah, the young man. He's waiting in the interrogation room. You can go straight through. His belongings are held in the evidence room.
Thank you.
Thank you. Where is the evidence room again? Is this? Yep.
These are the suspect's belongings.
This
The
is the same
notebook that we
notebook.
found on Peter Carey's cabin floor.
Okay.
These
he took it.
abbreviations mean something. But what?
He took it.
These abbreviations mean something. But what?
Okay. Evidence required. What is this? Ring. Ring. What do we do with this? Okay, something's written.
From R. Dawson.
To my friend and
To my
partner.
friend
I can see it. Do I have to click it?
and partner, 1883. Dawson. I've seen this name before. Perhaps my archive holds the answer.
Dawson.
A handkerchief with the initials JHN.
Okay.
A pocket knife. It was used to force the door of Peter Carey's cabin.
Fine. Evidence required. Let's interrogate. Where is the boy? This the boy? No. This the boy? Here it is. Let's see. Okay. C knife, notebook. Let's analyze it first. Uncle Topi, shabby cap. Okay. Thin neck. What does it have to patch? New patch. Short sleeves. Thin neck. Callus. Scars. We have 2 left. Hello. Elaborate buttons. Expensive fabric. Okay. Expensive fabric. Let's see. The gold ring.
The police seized this valuable ring from you. Whose is it?
I didn't steal it from anyone. It has always belonged to me.
Let's question ring's engraving.
The ring's date of engraving is many years ago. You would have been a child then, hardly in any position to receive such an item from a partner.
Yep, ring's owner.
So, Mr. Nelligan, who is the true owner of the ring?
The ring is mine.
மறுபடியும் அதே தப்பு சொல்றியாப்பா பொய் சொல்றான் What the fuck? Select the correct option.
The ring is mine.
Jacket.
No, Mr. Nelligan. I believe that the ring had belonged to your father.
Oh, but how do you know?
The
I just
jacket you
know.
are wearing
I'm
is
smart,
made of an
I know.
expensive fabric that only a man of exceptional wealth could afford. You do not seem to me to be a rich man, Mr. Nelligan. Furthermore, the garment is ill-fitting. It is quite clear that it belonged to someone else, most probably your father. With your father gone and taking with him the family's wealth, as a little boy you had to find yourself a manual job, and it was most probably cleaning fish. You cut your hands often while working. I can tell from the scars.
I'm speechless, Mr. Holmes. It all happened exactly as you say.
I know, right? I'm smart. What about the notebook?
Does this notebook belong to you?
Yes. But where did you find it? I did not know... I thought I'd lost it at the hotel.
What do these abbreviations mean?
Oh, no. I beg you, I can't. If I told you, it would only make things worse.
But I will find out eventually, Mr. Nelligan.
You see, that's why you should have
The sea
told.
knife was found near Carey's body. Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, did Mr. Carey try to defend himself or to attack you with it?
I don't know. I didn't kill anyone.
Well, I will see you soon, young man.
Please,
What? Let me what? Finish your sentence.
What am I doing here? I've done nothing wrong.
No gardener, elegance notebook, pinned to the wall, swift action. Peter carries on with a knife, but he didn't have time to use it. The morning copy. Break-in attempt were made in order to recover the notebook that had been lying in a pool of victim's blood. This proves the guilt of the person who made this attempt. Okay, he is guilty but not of murder, I guess. Fine. More. Swift actions, no gardener, break-in attempt, pinned to the wall. Swift actions, pinned to the wall. What is this? Need to find out whether an unskilled and untrained man could use a harpoon well enough to kill. Okay, makes sense, makes sense.
I need to stage a reconstruction. I'm sure that Watson would be happy to oblige.
Prepare for a harpoon throwing experiment. Okay, that must be fun. I'm guessing. John Elegant seems to be an unusual thief. What is his role? Watson will be glad. Fine. Let's talk to Watson. Where is Watson again? Let's go to Baker Street. Hello, welcome to the stream. டேய் தமிழ்ல பேசுறா நீ டிஸ்கார்ட் வாடா டிஸ்கார்ட்ல தான் இருக்க வாங்க 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 pinned to the wall no gardener break in attempt pinned to the wall no gardener what the hell வந்தாச்சா where is Watson? Mr. Watson.
A spot of whaling, Watson. Would you care to take part?
Are you serious?
No, but we do need to clarify what happened on the night of Black Peter's murder.
A reenactment,
So
then?
we're calling him Black
Is
Peter.
something bothering you?
The sailor's knife, Watson. Why was it on the floor?
Peter Carey attempted to defend himself?
It is possible.
Peter,
but if that is the case, then it alters many things.
I don't quite follow you.
Tell me, my friend, what is the animal closest to man, morphologically, I mean?
Ah, I see what you're getting at, Holmes. You asked me that once before. On the Ripper case, I believe. Do you want to slit some more pigs' throats?
No.
Thank goodness for that.
I wish to impale one with a harpoon.
Wonderful.
Watson, let us pay a
News
visit to
Badiyada
our butcher
nige.
friend
Yup,
in Whitechapel.
sad, very
We require
sad.
the carcass of a well-fed pig.
And the harpoon?
One of the harpoons on the wall of Black Peter's cabin should do quite nicely.
Shocking, actually. Illa. Let's see. Okay. We are back. Butcher. என்ன பண்ணணும் harpoon throwing experiment harpoon எடுக்கணும்ல first செம்ம ஷாக் ஆமா but at the end what can we do? Get the harpoon and get away.
That should
give me that.
do it.
Yep.
Now I...
Let's go, Peter. டேய் மைக் ஆஃப்ல இருக்குடா வந்து அதான் கேட்கல. வாட் நவ் மைக் ஆன் பண்றா, மியூட்
Well,
பண்ணி வச்சிருக்க.
here we are in the preparation room. I can't say that I like the smell of it much. What do you intend to do?
To indulge myself in a little experiment. The challenge of lancing a pig's carcass with a heavy harpoon.
Pigs what?
A little experiment.
Okay.
Stand aside, Watson. This might be dangerous. I am not well practiced in this exercise. Yet.
Holmes, you should aim for the mark in order to perform the most reliable.
Fine. Hold breath, aim. Okay.
Holmes, you should try to...
I should try to aim better, I know. What? What is this? How does this work?
The harpoon has struck the body, but with insufficient strength to pierce it straight through.
What does that mean?
Holmes, I can't believe it. Did you just
சொல்லுடா,
miss?
என்னடா ஆச்சு? Okay. Playback has been cancelled. Peter, நீ பேசுறது கேட்கவே இல்லடா. Nope. என்ன பிரச்சனைன்னு தெரியல.
Thousand that night.
Well, yes. Let us leave now.
All right. But before we go, I suppose I'll have to pay for all these carcasses you've happily mangled.
Very well, but please hurry.
Of course.
It's the deduction. Strength requirement pinned to the wall. Okay, there's a choice. Feat of strength. It requires a much greater strength than the average man to be able to pierce a man's chest. A degree of skill will most likely be necessary. Lucky throw. There's a remote possibility that an unskilled and untrained man could manage to pinpoint carry without. I did it, so let's just. When in cooperation, might achieve the same mission. It was easy. Discord, send the link. What link? Enna link? Lucky throw. Let's just say greater strength. What now? Sean Nelligan seems to be unusual. What is the role? Let's investigate the crime scene. Prints. आता है
These are the suspect's belongings. These abbreviations mean something.
Evidence. What is this?
Locked.
Lestrade. What is this called? No reason to go here actually.
What am I doing here? I've done nothing wrong.
What do I have to do now? Inspect the crime scene. Make deductions, I guess. Break-in attempt. Nope. வீட்டுக்கு போய் பார்ப்போம். Talk to
Good
me.
gracious, you caught someone. At least now you have a suspect. Good gracious, you caught someone.
Chor bolo yaar, Toby.
Brave Toby. The best nose in the British Empire.
Oh, what is this? Oh no, that is wrong. That is wrong. What is this? What is this?
My analysis table. It is useful for my work.
Okay, yeah, that's what we had to do. The gold from R. Dawson to my friend R. Dawson. Economics and science, technology, history, medicine, botany.
That is not the one. That is not the one I need.
Encyclopedia newspaper. Dawson and Nelligan are bankrupt. There it is. Dawson and Nelligan Investment Fund. A regional banking institute based on Cornwall has declared bankruptcy as a result of heavy losses and its liquidation. 23rd largest bank in Britain. Liquidation of companies appeal catastrophic for many Okay, Joshua is
Here it is.
disappeared.
Now I begin to understand that young man's story, but I am still unclear as to what connects him with the murder. It is time to ask him. I have heard the story of Dawson and Nelligan, the West Country bankers.
Yes, Joshua Nelligan was my father.
I am aware that it had a bad ending. When the bank failed, it ruined half the families of Cornwall, whereupon Joshua Nelligan disappeared.
My father was under extraordinary pressure. Dawson had retired. I was only 10 years of age at the time, but it was still old enough to
You
feel
still
the
look
shame
like
that
10
befell
though.
our family. My father was convinced that he could pay off all his debts if the creditors gave him time. He set sail for Hammerfest in Norway in his small yacht, just a few days before an
Yacht.
arrest warrant was issued. He left my mother a list of the securities he was taking. No word was ever heard from him again. We believe that his vessel went down, taking with it everyone and everything on board.
Thank you for the story, Mr. Nelligan. At last, we are making some progress. Interesting. Joshua Nelligan and Peter Carey were both at sea in Norway. There is definitely some connection between Peter Carey and Joshua Nelligan's disappearance.
Yep. Examining the ship's logo. Where do I examine that? Where is the ship's logo? I'm guessing the murder scene. Or the evidence room.
These are the
Ship's
suspects.
logo.
These are brief.
Let's go to the crime scene. Ship's logo. This is the logo, right? No?
The Sea Unicorn. She was the ship that Peter Carey commanded.
Yep, so what? So what?
This place is not covered with dust, like the rest of the shelf. An object was taken from here. It was larger than a book. A box or a small chest, perhaps.
Okay. What now? Ship's log for the year it might be. Ship's log. Where do I find ship's log? Ship's log. Where would people keep ship's log? Let's ask if
Is this your husband's tobacco pouch?
I'm not sure. It might be, but he hadn't smoked in a very long time.
okay, that is suspicious.
Your husband's private papers. Do you know where they are?
There was a small tin box, barely larger than a book. He kept his papers there. It should be somewhere in his cabin.
Thank
The
you,
missing
madam.
now. What now? What now? What now? Missing tin box, break-in attempt, carries non-smoker. What the? Ship's log. Let's. Andavida checkpoints. welcome to the stream. Lord ship's log, maybe Garvitla. Let's see.
My archive.
Good gracious, you caught someone. At least now you have a suspect.
Start to less crowd.
Locked.
Inspector கொஞ்சம் கூட பொறுப்பே இல்ல. இங்க ஏன்
What am I doing here? I've done nothing.
dialogues? I want the dialogues. A small box, barely larger. He kept his papers there. It should be somewhere in his cabin. But there is no such thing. Ship's log might put some light on the connection between ship's log. Where do I find ship's log? Ship's log. Ship's log. Ship's log. Ship's log.
(1883). That's the one I need. This is the crew list of the Sea
Peter
Unicorn.
Carey, Master. Sailor, harpooner.
This is the crew list of the Sea.
June.
Log notes for July. Nothing special. Log notes for August. These pages have been torn away. Canadian Pacific Railway, CPR. A torn piece from a bond certificate. I have seen this abbreviation somewhere very recently.
Let's go to the Scotland Yard. Wiggins might help to find crew of. He should be somewhere at Baker Street. Okay. First of all, the notepad. Notepad.
These are the suspects.
I know what that is.
I wonder if these are connected.
CPR. CPR.
Now we have the proof that Nelligan's papers were indeed here. It seems that they have vanished, however.
Missing tin box, missing paper. Okay, retrieving the notebook. Breaking attempt were made in order to recover the notebooks that had been lying. Nelligan was looking for his father's papers of black curtains. I don't know. Stolen valuable bonds. Nelligan's motive. John Nelligan could have been caught stealing the bonds. This might have been a motive for him to murder. Maybe. John is a victim of circumstances. Does not fit in the portrait of morality that wife is because. Yep, he's innocent. If I do this and this, then I think Nelligan will be convicted. He's not, I guess he's not. Let's see. What do I have to do? Baker Street.
Something new, Watson. I have the list of sailors who were aboard the Sea Unicorn. We shall soon learn what happened to Nelligan's father. I have only to find them. Let us hope they're still working at the harbour.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard...
I doubt it, Watson. And really, I would prefer that all of this remains quiet for now. But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
And who might they be?
The secret police division of Baker Street.
Ah, you mean young Wiggins and his gang?
Yes. Believe me, you'll receive more useful assistance from these little urchins than from a dozen yard detectives. Those children are everywhere. They see and hear everything, and they are cunning. All they lack is organization. I'll summon them.
How will you do that?
There is always a watch beneath our window. I have only to call him.
Beneath our window. This window? This window? Wiggins. Come.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Wiggins, I need you to track down certain people for me. I'll give you a list. You can read, can't you?
Big Oliver from our gang. He can, because his father is the coachman of a famous lawyer.
Fascinating. Here is the list of sailors.
Sailors? Easy. Just got to look where the rum and the red lights are.
That is true.
Sorry to trouble you, Mr. Holmes, but the inspector asks that you come to the station as soon as possible.
Thank you. I'll be there shortly.
And I'll be here shortly. Let's... Tanni kudichittu. Okay, I am back. Police station को let's go. Inspector.
Mr. Holmes, I'm glad to see you.
As always, what happened?
We have a new suspect, Liam Hurtley. I'm thinking that this case will be resolved very quickly now.
Interesting. Pray tell.
That guy.
Well, the constable that I left at Woodman's Lee noticed a suspicious individual prowling around during the night.
Do you have him here?
Yes. He refuses to speak with us, but we'll make him talk.
Let us hope so.
Ah, yes, and one more thing. The constable told me that at the time of his arrest, the fellow was writing a letter.
Do you have it?
Of course. It's in the evidence room, at your disposal. Admit that for once, Mr. Holmes, Scotland Yard is a step ahead of you.
Breathtaking.
Meet Inspector Lestrade. It's completed. Examine Hurtley's belongings. On it.
These are the suspect's belongings.
Size 8. What size?
Liam Hurtley's old boots.
9.5.
They're a size 9.5.
Stain letter.
The stains are fresh. They can be removed with the proper chemicals. A pen. Nothing unusual about it.
Interrogate the new suspect. Okay.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I would like to ask you a few questions.
I've already told the police that I've nothing to say. And you're not even part of the police.
Precisely, and considering your situation, it might be wise to speak with someone who is, shall we say, rather more neutral. You are a suspect in a murder case.
I know. Inspector Lestrade told me. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Could you at least tell me who you are, and exactly what happened that you should be brought here?
My name is Liam Hurtley.
I know that.
That I can tell you. But you're not getting any more than that.
Well, we shall see.
Examine. Yes, let's do the thing. What? Topi? Uncle Topi? Uncle da Uncle Topi na poda. What else? What else? What else? What else? Okay. Old scar. Gardener's hands. Fine. Plant remains. I did not see that. Something so. Handkerchief with. Okay, same.
That's all for now.
Logo. Interrogate new suspect complete. What next? What is he trying to hide? John Nelligan seems to be the unusual thief. What is the role in that? Okay, now. Next 9.5 boot size. Boot size. Okay, how good is that? Breaking.
Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, what exactly were you hoping to find inside Peter Carey's cabin?
I was trying to find some information about my father.
You know your father. What the hell? Ring bond certificate, father's jacket, tobacco pouch, sharp knife. Sharp knife.
I assume you had another purpose, to retrieve the bond certificates. Am I correct?
Yes. I discovered some time ago that a few of the missing securities had reappeared on the London market. You can imagine my amazement. I spent months trying to find them, and at last I discovered that the original seller had been Captain Peter Carey. These papers, they belong to my family, but I could not find them there.
That's all for now. Well, I will see you soon, young man.
See you soon. Inspect the crime scene, Liam. It is a tough one. I have to examine the boots. Deductions. Peter Carey, no gardener. No gardener, correct. Now gardening wala seems like. Let's see. There was footsteps, yeah.
These boots don't match the footprints.
Chota, it is small. Her place.
These boots match the footprints exactly. These footprints appear to be quite large.
Hartley came inside. Gardener. No gardener, Hartley's boots. What? This? Unexplained presence. Boot matches a footprint, providing he was there. Denies that there was a gardener. Let's interrogate the woman, the woman, so to speak. Woman. Hey, auntie. Enna marikiringa? Oh no. Talk.
Does the name Liam Hurtley mean anything to you?
No, I don't know anyone by that name.
Poi.
Thank you, madam.
Poi soludu, auntie. Let's interrogate that guy again. Maybe. Yep. Let's go. Please escort that man to the interrogation room.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation.
உள்ள எதுக்கு போன?
Tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what were you doing at Woodman's Lee?
Woodman's Lee? I've never been there.
அங்க தாண்டா புடிச்சாங்க உன்னை. என்னடா லூசு மாதிரி போய் சொல்ற?
The second pair of boots that you had with you when you were arrested perfectly match the footprints found near the cabin where Peter Carey was murdered.
யோசிக்கிறான் பாரு. திருட்டு மூவி
Footprints? That's your proof? How many men have boots like mine? That doesn't make me a murderer.
That makes you live, that's for sure.
Now that your presence at Woodman's Lee has been proven, would you care to explain it?
I don't remember. What would I be doing there anyway?
அதை தானடா கேக்குறேன். ஏன்டா லூஸ்? Gardener. Maybe, yes, well-kept gardener.
Because you are the gardener at Woodman's Lee.
I'm not. How did you...
I observed your hands. They told me that you work with the earth. Small fragments of plants snagged to your trousers indicate that you were mowing very recently. But the most obvious clue presented itself in the bird embroidered on your handkerchief. A crested tit, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, you got me. Yes, I am a gardener, and I went there to get my tools.
Murder.
That's all for now.
That's all. Is it? வேற என்ன பண்ணோம்? What is he trying to hide? இதான் முடிச்சானே இப்போ. இன்னும் முடியலையா?
What am I doing here? I've done nothing wrong.
I'm not saying another word.
I want you to say anything. Inspector room தரக்குதே. Hey, Inspector.
How is the investigation going, Mr. Holmes? Do you have any idea who the murderer is yet?
உன் வேலைடா எனக்கு கொடுத்துட்டு என்கிட்ட கேட்கலாம். என்ன பண்ணலாம்? அவன் கார்டனர்னு ஒத்துக்கணும். ஆன்டி கிட்ட மறுபடியும் போய் கேட்போம். ஏன் ஆன்டிங்கிறான் அத? It's pretty odd. Aya is better. Hey, Aya. Dog.
Who could do such a thing?
எனக்கு என்னமோ இவதான் பண்ணாலும் சந்தேகமா இருக்கு. ஓவர் சீனை போட்டு. ஏய் அந்த குட்டி பசங்க வந்திருப்பாங்க. பேக்கர் ஸ்ட்ரீட் போ. எவிடன்ஸ் எடுத்து. பில்லியா என்ன?
Brave Toby. The best nose in the British Empire.
A new suspect, but this one refuses to talk. This case is more interesting than I first imagined.
My archive. I can...
Letters.
This is where I keep my post. My archive. I can...
Clues. No clues. No idea. Let's see. Liam Hartley is the tough one. What is he trying to hide? How will I know? Interrogate பண்ணிட்டேன். வேற என்ன கிடைச்சதான் evidence? Stained letter. It is called ink stains. இது என்னன்னா பண்ணணும். அதுக்கு workshop இந்த bench. Yep.
I need to prepare a chemical agent that is capable of removing fresh ink. For this purpose, the chemicals from the flasks should be combined in a certain order to perform a chain reaction. First condition, all 7 reagents should be used.
Okay.
Second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent. First condition, all 7 reagents should be used. Second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent.
Colorless should be after the orange reagent.
I need to prepare a chemical agent.
Blue இருக்கு. இல்ல colorless, blue, green, orange. Green first போடணும். Blueக்கு 2 தள்ளி orange இருக்கணும். Orangeக்கு அடுத்தது colorless இருக்கணும். என்னடா மேக்ஸ்லாம் போட வைக்காங்க. ப்ளூ 2 தள்ளி ஆரஞ்சு. ப்ளூ 2 தள்ளி முன்னாடி ஆரஞ்சா? ஆரஞ்சுக்கு அடுத்து கலர்லெஸ். நடுவுல ரெண்டு என்ன வரும்? ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ப்ளூ போடுவோமா? எஸ் ப்ளூ. ஆரஞ்சுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் கலர்லெஸ் வரும். இப்போ ப்ளூக்கு அப்புறம் ரெண்டு கிரீனா? ஆனா ஆரஞ்சுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் கலர்லெஸ் இருக்கும்டா.
I need to prepare a chemical agent that is capable of removing fresh ink. For this purpose, the chemicals from the flasks should be combined in a certain order to perform a chain reaction.
சரி, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஐ திங்க் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து கலர்லெஸ். ஓகே, கலர்லெஸ்க்கு அப்புறம் ப்ளூ. ப்ளூவா? கலர்லெஸ்க்கு முன்னாடி தான்டா ஆரஞ்சு வரணும். கலர்லெஸ்க்கு அப்புறம் ப்ளூ. கலர்லெஸ்க்கு அப்புறம் ப்ளூ. ப்ளூக்கு அப்புறம் ரெண்டுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் ஆரஞ்சு. அப்போ கிரீன். ரெண்டு ப்ளூ இருக்கு. ரெண்டு ப்ளூக்கு அப்புறம் என்னடா வெயிட். Put back. If I use green now, green. இப்போ என்னெல்லாம் போட்டிருக்கேன்? கலர்லெஸ் ஒன்று, ப்ளூ ஒன்று, கிரீன் ஒன்று போட்டிருக்கானா? இப்போ ரெண்டாயிடு. ப்ளூக்கு அப்புறம் கிரீன் ஆயிடுச்சா? அப்புறம் இன்னொரு ப்ளூ, அப்புறம் yellow, ஏதோ ஒன்று, அப்புறம் கலர்லெஸ், அப்புறம் yellow.
No, something isn't right. I need to start the reaction from the beginning again.
yellowக்கு அப்புறம் கலர்லெஸ் வரணும். அந்த கண்டிஷன் மீட் பண்ணல. Should I just cheat? Nah, let's figure this out. ப்ளூக்கு அப்புறம் ரெண்டுக்கு அப்புறம் yellow. சரி, நீ சொல்லு. கிரீனா? இந்த போட்டேன் green. ப்ளூ. ப்ளூ இருக்கு ஒன்று.
No, something isn't right. I need to start the
என்னமோ
reaction
தெரிஞ்ச
from the
மாதிரியே
beginning
சொன்னியடா.
again.
No. I can skip it though.
First condition, all 7 reagents should be used. Second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent.
கலரே மாறல.
Done. Now I can proceed further.
முடிச்சாச்சு. போடு.
Let us see if the content of this letter sheds a little light upon the mystery.
தேக்கணுமா? Okay. ஏதோ எழுதி இருக்கு.
I did as you asked and hid them well. Interesting. How would Hurtley react to this?
I did as you asked and hid them well, but I beg you to reconsider. And remember our vows. I have done nothing dishonorable for which you dash me. Let's see. Let us go to Scotland Yard again. Interrogation.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. So tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what did you hide?
Hide? What are you talking about?
I did as you asked and hid them well. Should I continue?
My letter? But the ink? That's impossible.
A touch of chemistry, nothing special.
Well, you're a smart one, but it's nothing. If you want to know, I was referring to my tools. It was to do with my work, see?
I will check that, Mr. Hurtley. That's all for now. Hurtley's stories are false leads, but now I know one thing for certain. I must examine the site where the garden tools are kept at Woodman's Lee.
Tools இங்க வைக்க மாட்டாங்க. இதுதான் tools. These are pumpkins. These are merely pumpkins. Tools உள்ள இருக்கு.
Locked.
How do I open? It's locked.
Madam, we have information that the valuable stolen papers are hidden amongst the garden tools here at Woodman's Lee. We need to find them.
Oh my. Our tools are kept inside the shed that's right behind me. Here is the key to open it.
Thank you, madam.
Let's
see what could be hidden here. Let us see what is in this box. A bundle of letters in a woman's hand with the Carey family monogram. Hurtley and Mrs. Carey were in a relationship. That is interesting. Madam, I am aware of your affinity with Liam Hurtley.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Mrs. Carey, we found your letters.
My letters? I asked Liam to return them to me. I wanted to burn them.
Why did Mr. Hurtley put them inside the garden shed?
I don't know. I wanted them back, but I couldn't see him, not after what happened.
Well, here they are.
Oh, this is terrible. Terrible. Liam, how could he? After what he has done.
You believe that he killed your husband?
No, I do not know. I do not know. Leave me alone, please.
Thank you, madam. I wonder if Wiggins has managed to find any sailors.
Mr. Holmes, we found the sailors from that list you gave us.
Well done, Wiggins. Let me see.
Okay.
This man is a harpooner, and his initials are PC, the same initials that were found on the tobacco pouch. Wiggins, could you gather some information on one of the sailors that you found? His name is Patrick Cairns.
We found Patrick Cairns.
Good job, Wiggins. Where is he?
He lives in a small furnished dump of a room, but he's always at the Sea Witch pub, where he does arm wrestles for money and drinks.
Excellent. Here is your reward. 2 guineas.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, let us finish for today, I guess. We will continue this game tomorrow, maybe. Let's see. Okay, thank you everyone for joining. Please try
What should we do next, Holmes?
and I hope we will continue this. Bye bye. Bye bye everybody. Good night. Stay safe. Yeah. Bye.